beautiful DDD fam? It's your boy Drip, back with another video. In today's video, I have a updated Sword Soul list for you guys. Post Photon Hypernova, post ban list, etc., etc. A couple of things I want to mention about this deck moving forward. I really think it's going to be a very good contender. I think it's going to be tier one. In my opinion, it's already tier one again. At the time of recording this video, it's before the first YCS after the ban list. So God knows how many probably will take this there and do very well. If they don't, then they're missing out because I really think this deck has the chance to take the spotlight again. Everybody's on the branded stuff, the new branded stuff. Outside of Cashtira, obviously, I think this will be the second best deck. That's just my opinion. This deck can do a lot, and it's just, I don't know, it's just meta again. One thing I will say is there's a couple things in this list that when I get there, I'll tell you if you're going to like a bigger event or you have Kashtira at your locals, what to swap in and what to swap out for those. And one thing that I would potentially change in the extra deck. Other than that, I think the list is perfect. I did a lot of testing with meta and non-meta, so it can basically combat both, which Sword Soul usually does pretty well anyways. But with that being said, please hit the like button, subscribe button if you haven't already. Like 97% of you guys are returning members and are not like subscribers, so please hit the subscribe button. Make me happy. Check the description for all the ways to support me. Patreon if you need help or you're getting back into the game and you need a coach or whatever, I can do that. Or if you just want to become part of that side of the support channel, that's there for you too. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this video, guys. Also, support me on Twitter too. A lot of you guys haven't yet to go and follow me on Twitter. My profile and stuff's in the description. A lot of this is going to be standard in the way it was a few formats ago. 3 Ecclesia. I was running 2 in my previous list. I think now that Konami's doing power creep on everything, seeing her is absolutely necessary and mandatory in my personal opinion. So I won't cut her down again. 3 is mandatory in my personal opinion. That's just me. 3 Moe, 3 Long John Silvers, 2 Tai, and 1 of the new guy. If you don't know what the new guy does, he basically, whenever a monster is banished by a monster effect or whatever, you can summon him out of the hand or graveyard, and then if your opponent controls a field spell, you can banish the field spell and then banish 1 from field or grave. I believe it's field or grave. Banish 1 field monster. 1 monster your opponent controls or in the grave. So yeah, exactly. I was right. Yep. Banishes 1 from field or grave, but it basically it's mainly for like Kashtira or something else. If you're playing like against like Numerons or something random weird shit, it's for that. But worst case scenario, it's a name to reveal off Millie or something to banish off of Tae or dump off a Long. So it's another name basically, or it's a big body to help you push for game. Other than that, that's all it's really there for. It's a good side out target. But the way the game's moving forward, there's going to be a lot of decks that rely on field spells. So this card just basically helps you out decks that rely on field spells. And it's just, I mean, it was pretty much my 40th card, to be honest. But it is very good and underrated, in my personal opinion. Tenyi lineup is going to be different than before, mainly because of the way the format has shifted. I still run Tenyis. Bystials are going to take a back seat. I think in this new format, the only decks that are going to be main decking Bystials will be branded. So I'm still running the Bystials, and even if the Bystials were still really huge and still popular like they were last format, I would still run Tenyis because I feel like you get too much value out of them to not run them, if that makes sense. And then I swapped my ratios between Adhara and Vishuddha. The reason being is because Adhara, with Bystials being a thing and everything else, Adhara helps you advance your game state more so than Vishuddha does. Vishuddha is just really only good to help you bounce cards and play through boards, which is still very mandatory with this deck because we rely on that kind of. But I want something to help me push through and get my resources back because If I use Desires, and I used to run 2 of this, I hate banishing even one of my Adharas off of Desires, because then sometimes it feels like I am forced to end the game faster than I really want to, even though obviously you want to end the game as fast as possible, because that's just how the game works no matter what deck you run. But I hate only having like the resources of one Adhara if I banished one off of it, and then I'm running low on resources, basically, if that makes sense. So this being able to add anything back is like super like necessary in my personal opinion. I was running 3, but 41 cards is cringe. So I decided to drop this to 2, and since I haven't really missed it because I can get instant access to it with the Ashina, so it's fine in my personal opinion. That's just me. And then the last Tenyi, as I am running Mopra, you people still running Shatana, like, I love you guys so much, and I understand like you're here and for a list, and everybody else goes anywhere to see a list. But just because everyone else doesn't mean you should do it. Shatana, and excuse my language if you're a child, cover your ears, is dog shit. It is absolutely dog shit. Mopra is better than Shatana in every single way. You want me to tell you why if you don't already know? Let me tell you why. Mopra is a fire, which means whenever you bring it out off of Dragon Circle, or you just summon it off of itself, it is a fire, which makes your Boxia alive for 2, and you get more value off your Boxia because of this. Because the token you're going to get is water, and guess what? Freaking Shatana is? It's water, so you're going to get less value out of your Boxia if you use that. The second reason is because this card says when your opponent targets a non effect monster you control, what's the number one thing that your opponent's going to try to do to your cards when you're trying to play Swordsoul? They're going to try to get rid of your tokens, and not just your tokens, your monks and stuff like that. Guess what targets? Kashtiro's target. Dogmatic Punishment. Everything that normally pops, for the most part, targets. So this, you can just banish it and negate the activation and destroy it by banishing it from hand or graveyard. So you get more more utility out of this than you do Shatana. So, and granted, I know sometimes you're going to go first, so your Boxia doesn't really matter, but either way, it's a 4, and its effect is better than Shatana, in my personal opinion. And like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, everybody else runs Shatana, so I'm just going to throw it in there. No, read the freaking cards, guys. Read the cards. I got marker on my hands. Read the freaking cards, man. I promise you. If you do that every once in a while, you might be able to find some cool spicy tech of your own. But yeah, that's it for the Tenyi lineup. Hand traps are going to be kind of weird, but not really weird. They're going to be standard, but weird at the same time. 3 Ash, because it's a tuner and it's the best hand trap you get. It doesn't trade 1 for 1 in this new format. You get a lot more value off of Ash. 3 Valor, and then 3 Imperm. This is it for the monster hand traps and basically the hand traps. You can argue if you were taking this to an event, cut the imperms and put Book of Eclipse in. A lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, I'd run Nib." I wouldn't. The reason why is because Nib's is going to be very good this format, yes, but I'm going to side deck Nib because, one, you want the most value out of your 6th draw. There is nothing more annoying than drawing your 6th draw if you're going second, and it's being useless. As of where if you open your opening hand with Book of Eclipse, you get value out of it, but if you also draw it for your 6th draw, you get value out of it. And besides the fact you can flip everything, and on top of that, since this is a synchro-based deck with Ibly going around, we can't exactly main deck Lingaribo, or even run it hardly at all. So the Book of Eclipse can flip that too and allow you to play as well. So you can basically break boards easily with Boxia. This deck just easily rips through boards. So after you flip it, you can just rip right through it. As of where like a Nib will not be good as your 6th draw. So you just want to get the more value out of all your cards that you draw and you can do stuff with. So I keep the Ash because it is a tuner, and like you can obviously synchro with it if you need to, and same with Valor, it's a tuner as well, because this plus the your other cards can get you into your, like, a 7 can get you into a 10. This plus a 7 get you into your 8s, like your Tennies and stuff like that. And then this can be Book of a Moon, Book of Eclipse rather. Sorry, if you're going to an event or you have a more like high tier locals with like Kashtira and stuff like that are just really oppressive boards. Um, but yeah, I would swap this out for Book of Eclipse, but that's just me. Um, moving on to the last monster slash non-engine or whatever is one Destrudo. I know this card came to 3, and a lot of people are having a lot of like max level copium for it because it came to 3 and they want to max out on it. But at the end of the day, the Bestial Swordsoul is gone. That version of the deck is gone for now. Granted, I do think it's going to make a comeback eventually, but it's gone for now. And even with the Bestial version being like, it was still in the format 3, this is just like not necessary because at the end of the day, you have to remember the Swordsoul can brick even though like the consistency may look like it's really high. And this is a dragon, not a worm. So this does, yes, it can kind of help you advance your game state, but the only real thing, like, if you open a handful of like Sword Soul combo, the only logical real thing that you can get like and profit off of going second with this card is making a Yazi. Yes, I know you can make them most any other your synchros in the extra deck. I get that. I know that. I know. Stay out of the comment section. But the only real thing you're going to get like profit out of going second with this is Yazi in the early stages of the game. And like I said before, it's a dragon, not a worm, so it doesn't help you advance your game state. Moving on, we got 3 emergence because emergence is emergence. A lot of people don't run this card anymore, and even if they do, they don't max out on it, which I literally do not understand why. And that's 3 Dragon Circle, 1 Imperm's back, 2 targeting effects are back with like your Bestial, well not Bestials, but with like whether it's Imperm or your the Kashtira cards, you get more value out of your stuff when they're trying to like banish or target your stuff. So if they're going to target and destroy it and you have no protection, or target the banish, you can use this to chain and plus and like not like just completely die. On top of that, this is basically 3 more emergence because this is a Rhoda too. So even if you brick, you can get a, as long as you can get a Tenyi on board or whatever, you can just use this to tribute the Tenyi and search, and then you search any worm. So like it's kind of absurd not to run this at 3 in my personal opinion. This is 10,000 times better than Vessel, and this helps you so much more than what Vessel would do for you. Like definitely, like I said before, since targeting effects are back, like I don't know. I swear by this card, and I'll probably never drop it below 3, just because the fact it's a simple fact it's Rhoda. It's you just search anything. 2 Pot of Greed because it's absolutely free in this deck, and 1 Common Blackout because I'm trash and don't have the ultra rare yet. But that's it. It's clean 40 cards. Sword Soul, I always like to try to keep it 40 if I can. Every now and then I'll make a 42 card list, but 40 is where I like it. Extra deck. I'm still on 3 Monk. I like 3 Monk. 3 Monk sometimes comes for me because, like I said, this deck can brick, and sometimes you have to use, if you don't want to lose your only Monk that you have on the board, you just summon another Tenyi and link into another Monk, and then use the Dragon Circle to tribute the second Monk, so you can still keep your 1 to go get the rest of whatever you need. Because sometimes it kind of feels like non-productive if you summon 1 and then tribute it off immediately to go search, because I like having a non-effect monster on board. But that's just me. And then the last 2 links are Lina and Shaman. A lot of people, sorry, I didn't see that. It was all the way up there like that. A lot of people cut Lina, and my boy Tanner convinced me on it. Before, back in like the Mystic Mind format, I was running the Link 3 Tenyi, but that's not really necessary anymore because mine is gone, obviously. Thank God. But Lina is because Nib is a card, and if you get nibbed at a certain time, like when you're like trying to play, after you go full combo, because a lot of people don't go Baron anymore, you just auto lose, and this keeps you in the game. Because if they nib you, you just summon a Tenyi, link into this, then use this, crash into nib, and then go search Ecclesia, special Ecclesia, tribute Ecclesia, go get Taye, and then you're back into the game. So this card is like my security blanket, and I'm probably never going to take it out as long as Nib's around or Nib's in the format. That's it for the links. Moving on to the Synchros, this is a 7. This is Yazi. Yazi is straightforward. Don't need to say nothing. For the 8s, 2 Shishao, 2 Boxy. A lot of people have been cutting this down to freaking 1, and I literally do not understand why. It is a soft once per turn, and not even really. So like you just summon 2. Like my final round last night at locals, I went through 2 of them. My opponent didn't even know it was like not a hard once per turn or whatever. So like it was kind of nuts. When I summoned the second one, his face was actually priceless. It felt like an anime moment. His look on his face was kind of funny. But yeah, Boxia is my favorite card in this entire extra deck. Yeah, there's nothing really I need to be said. Sword Soul has been Sword Soul for a long time now. I had one crazy play where like I made Boxia, and then I made my second Boxia, and then I needed a little bit more damage for game, and I just used Boxia, target long and grave, summon it, and then a synchro for 10. It was freaking disgusting. And then one Berserker. Berserker's actually really solid, like slept on. Like people are taking Night Quill on him, considering how good he really is. It's kind of gross. And then for the 10s, one Sinister, one Mr. Most Underrated card in the entire extra deck. This card is the most underrated. Like the more underrated than Berserker, in my personal opinion. This, in my personal opinion, is going to be potentially better in certain matchups than this card, this format. Definitely with the new card, because if you're playing against a deck like Kashtira, you just let them somewhat go mid combo, and then you just use like the Shishao to negate like the whatever they have, and then if you have the new card engraved, you can get so much value out of it just because of this guy. Because let's say you have Shisha on this, you just go Shisha, negate whatever they're trying to activate. Since you banished a card, you can special summon this effect, target their field spell, banish, and then target one on their field or their graveyard to banish. Which most likely, if they have what is it, birth up, I'll use this, target their pressured planet and their birth to banish, and then this will trigger, since the card was banished, which you could have triggered this with them. So you could do Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, this to banish one from their field and graveyard, and then this to banish their field spell and the birth. So you banished 4 and just broke their entire board while them trying to play. So you negated and banished 4. That's absolutely disgusting. That's where this new card comes in clutch. But you just completely just rip through boards with Chinging, and it like manipulating your opponent's attack points. Like saved my ass against a Dragoon last night, because it's 2023 and we're having to worry about Dragoon out here in these streets. And then Baron. Baron is Baron, and then the last card is No One Expects It Coming. Psychic and Punisher. I would, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, they're like, what about the new Water Ice Jade? I would potentially cut Monk to 2. Cut Monk to 2 if you want to run that, and then swap out the third Monk for the Ice Jade, and your extra deck is legit perfect. I promise you. You'll have utility for every single matchup and have a card for almost every single thing. But yeah, freaking Punisher is disgusting. If you're running Destrudo, there's no reason you don't need to be running this card, because it's just freaking free real estate. Because there is a play where, oh God, I was trying to specifically remember it for you guys. You can OTK with like Baron plus like Shishao, and if you have Baron, Shishao, and then you have access to Hara or whatever, you can summon summon this after you clear the whole board. This or any other 10 basically, but Baron's the one I'm mentioning now, because you can go Baron, pop, and then use Har and Baron to make Punisher, and then whatever, and then you can use Punisher's effect not detach his card, it's not an XE, to banish a card you control, and then battle phase increases attack, and then it becomes 45, and then you can hit. I can't remember what it was. If I can remember, I'll make a combo video on it and show you guys. It was really disgusting, but it's basically a 10 at Hara and then something else that you can easily OTK with. It's really nasty. Definitely, if you went through Destrudo and you use Destrudo, then you're just pimping at that point, bro. You're good. That's it for the main deck and extra deck. I'm going to show you the side deck. Side deck is just going to vary depending on your locals or your event you're going to. I have mine for my locals. Three, three duster, three evenly. Evenly is just so pog champ. This format is ridiculous. Which I'm not sure when there's a format where evenly is not disgusting. Three of the reason why this deck won worlds or whatever did so good because of this card. This card like one single-handedly won me a game, and it can win you against Cashier too because even though they can still out this with their whatever it is Fenrir, but it still slows them down enough to where if you open full combo plus this, you're winning that game, like forcing them to go second. Dark Ruler because there are decks where this card is just still really good. It's dog water against Kashtira. Don't use it. It's mainly for like Sprite or Branded or decks like that. And then two Lightning Storm and one Duster. It's just back row hate. Labyrinth is a deck, and I don't feel like dealing with it. Hence all my back row hate. I just don't feel like dealing with it. I have enough anxiety playing it anyways. But that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said before, the side deck are just going to vary depending on where you go. But the only thing I will say that you need to keep in there is the 3 rivalry and the 3 evenly. Everything else can be completely up to you and what you want to run, what you think is good against the meta decks, or what you think is going to be good, or whatever event you're going to or play at. But everything else that I mentioned before, the deck I won't change except for the changes that I said I probably would make. I love this deck card for card. I really do, and I really enjoy the deck itself outside of the cards. But again, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you have fun with this deck. Have fun out there just playing Yu-Gi-Oh, doing whatever you're doing. But with that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful night, morning, evening, whenever you're watching this video. Hope you all are staying safe out there. And it's your boy Brendan, aka Drip, signing up. Till next time, good dueling, my guys. Peace.